All right, let's talk National Signing Day. We're going to talk to our buddy Jerry Hamilton next hour from On Texas Football. He is the best when it comes to these signing day conversations, what Texas is adding. And look, we know this, right? Recruiting is your lifeblood. And when you're bringing in good players, that's the future of your team. And Sark said pretty clearly yesterday they still want to recruit high school talent. I mean, if Sark could have a number on it, he'd put 80% of his roster as high school development, high school players, and then use the portal for 15 to 20%, right, to fill holes, add pieces where they need it. Texas did receive commitments from 23 players yesterday. Of those, 6 of them, by my count, are rated as 5 stars or really high 4 stars by the various services. It includes the nation's top quarterback recruit in Bell from South Florida, running back Derek Cooper. He's also from the greater Miami area. They also have the top-end left tackle in John Turntine from Fort Worth on that great power program at North Crowley. Texas also landed commitments from one of the nation's top linebackers, Tyler Atkinson from Loganville, Georgia. One of the nation's premier edge rushers, Richard Wesley from Southern California. As you have told us, Jack, he attends the same high school as LeBron James' kids, Sierra Canyon there.
Yeah.
And Sark said something funny about Richard Wesley. He's only 16 years old.
That's right.
And he said he's 6'4" and 225 at 16. What's this dude going to look like when he's 18?
He's going to be a monster.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite players in this class is the kid from East Texas, Jermaine Bishop. That guy is, you know what that guy does, Jermaine Bishop, Jack? If you watch his huddle video, he punts for Willis. He punts. So he plays Wildcat quarterback. He'll play receiver. He's a running back. He'll play defensive back. And he lines up and punts. And he averages over 40 yards a punt, Jermaine Bishop. But you know what he'll do? This is pretty cool. If you watch him on film, he'll line up to punt, and sometimes he'll fake like he's going to run and get a fake punt.
Yeah.
And then he'll punt it. Or he'll do a jump pass.
That little pooch kick thing.
He'll do a jump pass.
Pretty good.
Or he'll just flat punt it.
Yeah.
And then he'll run to the line of scrimmage like he's going to run it and then do a jump pass. And then he'll run to the line of scrimmage, then he'll punt it. Or they'll just run.
Sometimes high school football is just unfair.
And it's just fun. I mean,
we have Derrick Henry on our team. You're not going to beat us. Sorry.
Yeah, and Jermaine Bishop, that's a guy that can play early.
He's going to do everything. You're not going to beat us.
We'll hear some thoughts from our buddy CJ Vogel on this. But let's hear Sark yesterday talking about this. I mean, this is the class Christmas Day, as he says, kind of like unwrapping the presents. Here's a little bit from Sark, his overview of the 23-person class. They did lose a couple defensive tackles on signing day, which we'll tell you about. They did flip one defensive back on signing day or into signing day. Here is Sark yesterday.
Coach's perspective, this is kind of like Christmas morning. You have an idea of what the gifts are under the tree, but then you finally get to open them up. And I think the class we signed is a fantastic class. Maybe not as big of a class as some years in the past, but a very talented, a very versatile class. When you look at some of the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, obviously you get an elite quarterback in Bell, an elite runner in Derek Cooper, some really fantastic playmakers on the perimeter in Cohen Brown, Chris Stewart, and then Jermaine Bishop with his ability to play on either side of the ball. That's exciting because at the end of the day, you got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. And I think when you look at it, I know we're going to talk about this in a minute, but when you look about how do you get your numbers right and where you need to be on the offensive line, I do think the 3 offensive linemen fit needs for us in Robertson, Shear, and Turrentine as we move into the future of what down the road it looks like. And clearly we'll have to address some things on the offensive line in the transfer portal. And so, I think naturally it's like, we'll just go sign a bunch of high school offensive linemen. The reality of it is high school offensive linemen don't always equate to helping you the very next year. So you have to leave room for the portal to make that happen. On the defensive side of the ball, again, on the front, it wasn't always so much about just sheer numbers. It was about getting really quality players. And you look at James Johnson, you look at Richard Wesley, you look at Jamarian Carlton. I mean, these guys are very athletic, fantastic players that can have some, I think all 3 of those guys could have some potential immediate impact for us there. I thought we hit a home run at the linebacker position. Obviously, Tyler Atkinson is a fantastic football player for us. You look at Cozy Akpala, a very versatile guy who can play off the edge and at linebacker with great length. And then we're really pumped about Rocky Cummings. It's again, everybody's recruiting process is different. But this guy's growth and evolution into his senior year, the length that he has, his ability to play off the ball, linebacker, and off the edge was big for us. And then in the secondary, a pretty common theme when you look at these guys, 6'1", 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot, right? The length that you have to have in the secondary and the physicality and speed you have to have in the secondary in our conference, I think those guys all hit that, with Torrey Davis and Hayward Howard, Samari Matthews, and Yaheem Riley.
Or Yaheem Riley goes by Miami, Jack. So the 5-1-2 crew, Yaheem Riley from Anderson High School, who he wasn't being recruited by Texas, Jack. Yaheem Riley, the kid from Anderson. Even though he was training with, remember, he was training with Michael Griffin, and who was also working before they went off to the NFL with Jahdae Barron and Malik Andrew Makuba, and they were working at the same gym. And he wanted to, but the previous, remember, because they had Blake Gideon.
That's right.
And the cornerbacks coach was Terry Joseph, and they both left. Right, Terry Joseph now with the Saints, Blake Gideon's now with Georgia Tech. And they really weren't recruiting Miami Riley, as they call him, or Yaheem, and Dwayne Aquina. When they brought Dwayne Aquina from Arizona, he had been recruiting Yaheem from Arizona. And so he picked up the recruitment, and he's going to come in and try to play safety at Texas, kind of an Andrew Makuba-type player. They've got some corners and some length, and Sark just went through it. That's the recruiting class, 23 players. They did lose a couple on the D-line. Sark went on to say, as he said before, the closer you are to the ball, so offensive line, quarterback, the closer you are to the ball, the longer the process is to get developed.
Right.
And that's where I think you're going to hear, and you're kind of heard Sark talk about it. They did a poor job last year of using the portal to attack the offensive line position, like a veteran interior lineman, which kind of haunted them at the beginning of the season. And Sark said yesterday, I heard him say it, when we get to the portal January 2nd, running back and offensive line are two areas we will target. Mm-hmm. And that's obvious. But because, if you're coming in as a high school offensive lineman, you're a couple of years in the weight room before you're ready to play in the SEC.
Right.
Quite honestly. Same at defensive tackle. So I think you'll continue to see Texas try to use the lines of scrimmage through the portal and use the skill players, the edge players, the perimeter players more through the high school recruiting, and obviously quarterback and Dia Bell. And the 5-1-2 crew, as we like to call it, there's the Miami Riley, also the two kids from Georgetown. The offensive lineman who's a developmental player, as he talked about right there with 3 offensive linemen in this class, and Jet Walker, the other running back. Derek Cooper's the kid from Miami. Jet Walker is the back from Georgetown. Both signed yesterday. So let's hear real quick, my buddy. We're going to talk to Jerry Hamilton from On Texas Football next hour. But how about C.J. Vogel, who is another one of their recruiting insiders? He gave some thoughts, his scouting report on Dia Bell, and what the Longhorns are getting in the son of Raja Bell, the former NBA player.
And there it is. The number 1 quarterback in the country is signed to the University of Texas. Steve Sarkisian and A.J. Milwee. They end up signing Dia Bell out of American Heritage in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The number 1 quarterback in the country is going to be a Texas Longhorns, following up Arch Manning, a former 5-star as well. KJ Lacey, Dia Bell also will be on campus next year. But look, for Dia specifically, you see the athleticism on tape. He's very crafty. Obviously, I think there's a much higher ceiling than what he's putting on tape at the moment as well, which is pretty impressive considering he was the 2024 Florida Gatorade Player of the Year as well. 6'2.5", 215 pounds, got 10-inch hands. Look, he's a big-time ball player waiting to happen. He comes with a basketball background. He knows how to get the ball where it needs to go, when it needs to go. I think Sark likes that as well. So this is a big get for the Texas Longhorns, big get for Steve Sarkisian.
All right, so there it is. Dia Bell played basketball. Of course, his dad was a basketball player, but he then fell in love with football. His mom's an athlete, too, at a high level. And one thing you keep hearing about him is competitive. He likes to compete. He's a dog, as they say. And Dia Bell, his dad, what was your scouting report on Dia Bell as a basketball player, Raja Bell?
Oh, Spurs fans know.
Oh, he's
an a-hole.
Yeah, and apparently he's kind of that too, a little bit. Let's hear CJ also on Tyler Atkinson, the linebacker from Loganville, Georgia. And this was an NIL play here. It was Texas and Georgia. Texas went big. They know they need a replacement big picture for Anthony Hill, who might go off to the NFL this year or certainly next year. Tyler Atkinson, who's been working out here in Austin. He's from Georgia, plays high school ball, but had been working out with Derek Johnson here in Austin at the collective gym, along with Anthony Hill. So they struck up a friendship, and that brought him to Austin. Here is CJ on the linebacker out of Georgia.
Don't just walk into the state of Georgia and come away with the top 5 player in the state. No, you just don't. However, Texas, for the second straight year, does exactly that. This time, it's five-star linebacker Tyler Atkinson coming out of Grayson High School. He's the number 20 player in the entire country. He's 6'2.5", 210 pounds. He is the heart and soul of that very talented defense at Grayson. He calls the plays. He will wear the green dot at the next level to be the main communicator, a big-time leader, and he has every intangible, right? The size, the length, the speed, the violence that you need to play with at the middle linebacker position at the SEC. He's got it all. Not to mention, a fantastic kid, was able to provide cleats to his team en route to the state championship playoffs as well. Now, to replace Anthony Hill, Texas has their long-term solution with Tyler Atkinson.
All right, so there you go. And I know for a fact when we were in SEC Media Days, Jack, back in July, CJ and Jerry Hamilton, who joined us next hour, went to Loganville and watched him have a summer practice and watched him work out and talk to his coach. So those guys have the good intel on. Remember, because Tyler Atkinson committed while SEC Media Days were going on. And it was the day that Sark and Kirby Smart were there on the same day. And the kid was committing to Texas, and he's coming to Austin. So one other, here's Jermaine Bishop. I talked about him doing everything. Punter, quarterback, receiver. Sark said yesterday we're going to figure out where he's best. He's just a great athlete out of Willis, Texas. Here's CJ on Jermaine Bishop.
Most dynamic playmaker in the entire country has signed with the University of Texas. That is Jermaine Bishop out of Willis, Texas. That's a broad statement I just made, but let me go through a couple of the numbers. 5,500 career receiving yards, 900 career rushing yards. He's got 13 interceptions and 17 passes defended as well. He can play both sides of the ball. Oh, and he's the number one athlete in the entire country for the 2026 cycle. He is a five-star prospect. Jermaine Bishop, a fantastic player. Put him on both sides of the football. The University of Texas is getting themselves a stud who I see playing at the wide receiver spot at the next level. Look, you put the ball in his hands, and he is a threat to go the distance every single time he touches the rock. He's got over 1,700 receiving yards as a senior this year, and that number is still to rise right now. He is still playing for a state championship in his hopes over at Willis, Texas. But
all right, so there's CJ Vogel. So you can watch him, Jack. They're trying to get to the state round. That might be the guy you see up in Arlington for Willis, doing
right.
all those things on both sides of the ball. So those are probably the three headliners. Derek Cooper, the running back, is in there too. John Turntine, offensive line. I think North Crowley's still playing in the state's playoffs. They won the state title last year out of Fort Worth. So some of those guys, the Texas kids, you can still see playing in the high school playoffs. So there you go. There's a little overview. There's Sark. CJ Vogel, appreciate his insights on some of the top players of this class, 23 players. The two that did depart yesterday that signed elsewhere, and we kind of knew this was coming. Defensive tackle Vodney Cleveland. This one for sure, because just essentially as far as the finances go and salaries, North Carolina outbid Texas for that on signing day. And
Bill threw a bag at
Bill
him.
Belichick and Mike Lombardi, Vodney Cleveland, they need lines of scrimmage badly. And Vodney Cleveland, Texas couldn't go there. And then Corey Wells, this one was a bit of a surprise. He flipped from Texas back to Auburn. And his brother plays at Auburn too. So there's a family tie. So two defensive tackles. Longhorns will likely attack that like they have in the portal on the interior of the D-line come January. Offensive line as well. Sark said running back too.